Communication Technology presents educational satellite television programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on evidence of evolution from Comparative Anatomy. In our last lesson, we learned about evidence of evolution from paleontology. We focused on how fossils were formed and how they are dated. In this lesson, we will learn about how the similarities and differences in the anatomy of organisms have given us more evidence for evolution. Examining and comparing familiar body structures of animals can provide clear and easy to understand knowledge about evolution. Let us begin the lesson. Comparative anatomy looks at the structural similarities of organisms and uses those to determine their possible evolutionary relationships. It is one of the strongest forms of evidence for evolution. Within this study, it is thought that organisms with similar anatomical features are closely related evolutionarily and must likely share a common ancestor. Comparative theory has two major categories: homologous structures and analogous structures. We will start by talking about homologous structures. Although some organisms have anatomical structures that are very much alike, the function the structures serve will be different from species to species. We call these structures homologous structures. One easy structure to spot within mammals is the forelimb. Look at the following image. All of the forelimbs in this image are of different mammals. For our next activity, students, describe how they are shaped. Also, describe what they are used for within each mammal.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. As you saw in the image, each structure contains the same number of bones, and they are arranged in a similar way. But they have different external features, and they function differently as well. The forelimb in a human is an arm, which we use for manipulating. The forelimb in a cat is its leg that is used for moving. A whale's forelimb is its fin, which is used for swimming, and the bat uses the forelimb, its wings, to fly. Structures that share a similar form and function also share a similar embryo origin. This means that these mammals started off similar in the early stages of development. Scientists compared the anatomy of limbs in different animals and discovered that the basic pattern of a limb with 5 digits, or pentadactyl limb, evolved just once. All organisms with this type of limb structure were descended from that original type. This indicates that they share a common ancestor. To review what we have just learned, students, explain what a homologous structure is. Take a few minutes to write your answer on a sheet of notebook paper.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. If you said that a homologous structure is a structure that is shared or similar in two species because of common ancestry but functions differently, then you are correct. Let us move on to learning about analogous structure. In contrast to homologous structures in comparative anatomy, there are structures called analogous. This means that although the structures serve the same function in two or more different species, they evolved independently. In other words, the structures do not come from a common ancestor. An example of analogous structure is in the wings of a butterfly, bird, and a bat. How do these structures serve each animal? Could these animals be related? Students, take a few minutes to answer the question.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. The wings of all three animals help each animal to move. They allow the animal to fly, find food, and quickly get away from their predators. Although their wings serve the same function, these three organisms do not share a common ancestor, or even similar habitats or lifestyles. The anatomy of the wing in each species is different. The bird's wing has bones, and it is covered with feathers, while the butterfly has neither of these. And the bones in bat wings are flexible and covered in an elastic-like skin. Analogous structures show a fascinating achievement of evolution in that unrelated species had the ability to develop similar structures in order to adapt to their environment. That is all for our lesson, students. To review, we learned about the two concepts in comparative anatomy: homologous structures and analogous structures. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.